Hey, YouTube. How y'all doing, my joyriders? I'm taking a little break here. I take hammock breaks. Yes, I do. I want to tell y'all something. Let me get comfortable. Let me tell y'all something. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I sometimes I'm thinking like, well, I don't want to tell all my business, and I don't know why people get on here and tell all their business, but I do think that there are people that can benefit from your story. I think it's a difference in telling all your business on social media and sharing your testimony to encourage other people. So I'll just say this. I have a lot that has happened, and there have been times where I have shared parts of my testimony with people, and they've said, "You need to write a book." They've said that to me. Even my son said, he told me, "Mom, we need to write a book together." I believe that there are people in this world that the internet will make it possible for you to share your story with. They can benefit from, they can learn from the lessons you've learned, and you can make things a little better for them. But I also know that people are going to do what they want to do, and some lessons they can't learn secondhand. They have to learn it on their own. And we learn this when we have adult children. You could tell them, I wouldn't do that, or, give them advice. But once they become adults, it's up to them to decide what they want to do, and it's up to them. And it will be just like it will be up to them to deal with whatever consequences they have to suffer due to whatever decisions they made. But I will say this: at 51, and even before 51, I just felt like that scripture that talks about, study to live a quiet life. God really does have all the answers. I mean, that's no surprise. He is God. He created everything. If you listen to his word and you execute his word to the best of your ability, life is a different um life has a different outcome, and it can have a better outcome than it does if you choose to just do it your way. In Proverbs, when it talks about lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he'll direct your paths. Wouldn't you want the one who knows everything to direct your paths? Even if that means that he allows you to go through some situations that are hard. And you're like, Lord, why am I going through this? But it's one thing to go through something and not get anything from it. But it's another thing to go through something and recognize, wow, going through that caused me to know God in a better way. Going through that caused me to be able to encourage others who are going through things. Like to know that you didn't just go through something for nothing. It changes the situation. And I've gone through a lot, and I will share as um I won't say as the Lord allows me, but I'll pray about things and how to share it, because I also know that the truth is not everybody can handle your testimony. That's true. Sometimes people are very judgmental, and they find something out about you from your past, and then they want to discredit you because they think, because you've done this or you've done that, you to them you lose credit. But there is no losing credit in your testimony when God is getting the glory. When the end result is you serving him, living for him, and loving people and forgiving people and praying for those who use you and showing up for those who would never show up for you. There's no judgment in that. There's no condemnation in that, because no matter what your past holds, it's your past. You've learned from it, and ultimately you're better because of it, right? So There are things in my past, things that have happened that I look back and I never, as a young person, never thought that would be my story. I just, you just like, what? I can't believe that happened to me, or I can't believe I went through that. But that's the thing. We don't know what the future holds. And so we got to hold on to God because you don't know what's coming your way. Things can literally change for the better or the worst in the blink of an eye. And that's the truth. So showing grace to people and not discrediting them, um, it would behoove everybody to do that because you don't know what situation you'll find yourself in. And you don't know how you would have responded to the same situation you judging somebody else on how they responded. So I just want to say that, we need to use wisdom when it comes to sharing our our stories. Um, but somebody can benefit from it. And don't be ashamed of your past. Don't be ashamed of any part of your past. It's your past. You got through it and you're a different person now, you know? So um, that's just something I was thinking about. And I wanted to come on and make a quick video and talk to y'all about it. One of the things that really encouraged me to want to have this coaching business of a joyful state of mind is because through the trauma that I have experienced, um, I realize mindset is the biggest thing. It really is. Where your mind is, your body follows. When you're in a bad mood, when you're angry, when you're lonely, wherever your mind is at, your actions follow that, right? So if you purposely try to keep your mind in a joyful place, and please don't hear me say joy is happiness because it's not always happiness, but there is a peace in holding on to your joy. The joy is the assurance that things will get better. The joy is the assurance that God is with you in the middle of the storm. Because Jesus told us that there were going to be storms in our life. He told us to take heart because he'd overcome the world. So you're going to go through things, either firsthand or secondhand. It might be something that one of your children are going through, or one of your really good friends, or somebody else in your family. It's still going to have an effect on you. And then, of course, there are things that you go through on your own that, affect you. Some things change you forever. Um, and so it's a matter of understanding and believing and having the hope. It's like, the faith that we have is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And if you don't have hope, even if you are at the pinnacle of life, you got all the money you could think of, everything is going quote unquote perfect, there is a desire to do more, right? Because a lot of times we don't, and I'm not wealthy, never been wealthy, but I've heard that, I've seen the tabloids and the news about people who are rich and they take their lives and, they end up on drugs. And, it's like people who are living a regular life, they can't understand, like, why, why is this happening to people who have no worries, no problems? Money is not, yes, the Bible does say money answers all things, but money is not your shield from storms. It's not, and it's not going to shield you from storms. So it's better, I think, to, as I was saying at the beginning of the video, live that quiet life. Don't get in extreme debt. Don't worry about flashy things or, trying to Yes, be comfortable. I'm not saying don't be comfortable. I'm not saying never treat yourself, but I think people just dig themselves into debt. And when you get my age, you, and I felt like this for a while. I'm saying when you get my age, but this has been a feeling I've had before I got to my 50s, where I was like, you know what, I'd rather be broke and eating beans than rich. I'd rather be peaceful, broke, and eating beans and rice than to be rich and stressed out and you don't even have an appetite. Is because there's a cost for everything. And I think we don't realize that the cost beyond the bill, right? Beyond the things we see. You buy a house and you know what the house costs. You know what you have to pay for it. You know you know that part. But you don't really know. Okay, let me say it like this. You know the price of the house, but you don't know what it's really going to cost you. You don't know what it's really going to cost you. You don't know that it's going to trap you in a job that you don't want to be in anymore, or just dealing with things and it's like there's so many hidden costs. And I'm not even talking about money wise, though that's the case too, because things go broke, things break, and you have to be the one responsible for that maintenance, you know. So you understand, yeah, I paid this much in rent, so I should be able to afford this mortgage. But there's more to it than that. And as you get older, you know what you really what is the most expensive thing for you? What is the most valuable thing? It's your time. Oh my gosh, y'all, wasting time on relationships and in being a part of an organization that is depleting you and is not fulfilling you in any way. That's sad and it's hard to deal with. And I just, I would encourage anybody of any age to really take stock in what is the true cost of your lifestyle. Not the price, not how much your bills cost, your bills, add up to at the end of the month, but what is it costing you? Are you stressed out all the time? Do you have a boss that you can't seem to please? Are you being stretched thin and expecting to do things that you know it's not a one person job? You know this is not in your mind, right? I remember working somewhere and man, I was, coming in on the weekends, Sunday after church, Saturday, bringing my kids. I was a single parent then, doing work at the job. And I just knew I was like, wait a minute, I'm not wasting no time. I'm doing things as efficiently as I know how, and I can't catch up. It just in my mind, I was like, this is not a one person job. And I think I mentioned something to that effect, maybe not those exact words, but I mentioned something like that to a person that was in charge there, and I don't remember what she said exactly, but the bottom line is when I left that job, do you know they hired two people and split the responsibilities of that job? And then I found out that before I had started, it was a two-person job. So I was not crazy. They will gaslight you, and you have to know within yourself the truth so that you are not, you know, having self-doubts like, well, maybe I'm not doing it right, or maybe I do need more time management, or maybe no. The business is always going to do what's best for the business. And I don't blame them. They're a business. They're trying to succeed. They're trying to have longevity. But you got to be about your father's business because only what you do for Christ lasts. And you got to be about taking care of your temple, taking care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? So don't don't be out here chasing the Joneses. and trying to and digging yourself into some lifestyle for clout, and then you have to stay at a job that you hate, you know, or worse, you'll lose everything if that job lets you go, and jobs will let you go. They will do what's best for them, always. And again, that's not a dig. I mean, what else are they supposed to do? I mean, yeah, we say, well, they should take care of their employees, and they should, yes, to an extent. But if there are some casualties for the quote unquote greater good of the business, that's what's going to happen. And that's what has to happen, honestly. So I don't feel a way about it. You know, you hear people say, you be loyal to these jobs and they don't care nothing about you and da da da. Okay, but why are you caring about them? Go there and do your job, what you're paid to do, and that be that. And then you don't have to feel like the job owes you more than a paycheck, because they don't. You're not their family. You you're choosing to do more than you should do. And if they're asking you to do more than what they're paying you to do, then you have to stand the ground there as well. But you have some responsibility in not burning yourself out. Times have changed. Jobs don't offer pension like they used to. So take care of yourself. Take the time to rest. Take the time to work out. You know, one thing I'm sitting here in straight up conviction about right now is the Lord told me to start stretching. I don't know how long ago. I was like stretching, like spiritually stretching, but just instead of just doing the stretching, that the first thing that came to mind, which is physical stretching. You know what's crazy? I have a dog. When she wakes up, she shakes and she stretches. It is instinctive to her. How is it that an animal who's supposed to have less intellect than a human being knows to do what's good for their body? They sunbathe. You ever seen dogs or cats sunbathe? They sunbathe. They take in those rays. We know that sun is good for you, not overexposure, but sun is good for you. Gives you that vitamin D. I watch my dog come out and lay out in the sun. My dog rests, and you said you comparing yourself to a dog? No, I'm just saying, if you take the time to slow down and look at nature, nature gives a lot of clues, because nature was created by God, and so were we. Reading God's word, watching his creation gives you wisdom beyond your years. That's what I'm saying. So, all right, well, thanks for hanging out with me for a few minutes, literally hanging out in the hammock. And I'll talk with y'all in the next video.